Hello.
Hello, good morning. It's a lovely day here at Messina. It's been so pleasant this week, and we're looking forward to spring. It feels like spring, doesn't it?
It does. And it's so wonderful because it gets you out in the garden again. And we are able to look at what's going on in not only in the yard, but in our greenhouse. So many of the herbs that we've been featuring on the Culinary View or will be featuring on the Culinary View, we have been able to extend through the winter time in our greenhouse. And
Oh, it's amazing. It's amazing. We have a trumpet plant. It looks like a tree.
uh-huh.
It has got trumpets all over the place, and now we're going to talk about a fabulous herb.
So in the greenhouse, we grow all of our herbs that we want to extend through the winter time that won't live outdoors, but they do just fine in the greenhouse. And you can see this is oregano, how beautiful it is. It's cascading down over the baskets in the greenhouse. It's so pretty. And we have our traditional or common oregano, which is what you see most in recipes. But we also have something called a Cuban oregano that I thought you would find interesting because it's so different. The leaf is huge. It's a succulent as compared to the oregano plant itself. The oregano is more pungent than other herbs, and so it makes a great pairing for your big red wines. The Cuban oregano is 3 times the pungency of the regular oregano, so it takes just a very little pinch of the leaf to get a lot of flavor in your dish.
And it's one of those that's extremely easy to propagate. If you take this stem and you put some rooting hormone on it, and then place it into a good soft soil medium within no time. I mean, I'm talking about 2-3 weeks. You start seeing the plant propagated. Now, normally when we propagate, we take the big leaves off. So these leaves would go into Merrill's spice program, and we would just keep the 2 small leaves, because if you leave the big leaves, it's too much of a demand on the plant trying to root. So easy plant to propagate.
And during the summertime, we harvest the herbs and we actually dry them as well so that we can come up with our own spice blend. It's our Vineyard District spice blend that we can also use throughout the year.
And since we cook a lot of Italian, these herbs are absolutely perfect. There's nothing like fresh. I mean, when you have fresh herbs, it makes the food pop. It's just an amazing difference between dried and fresh.
They're really common in Italian cuisine, but also Greek, Asian, Indian, and African, Caribbean. So it's an herb that's a staple in our home.
And the
It's
first
great
2 wines that we're going to talk about really is Cabernet Franc, which has a wonderful history. And then the second one we're going to talk about today is Petit Verdot. Petit Verdot. It is a great, lovely wine. Let's talk a little bit about Cabernet Franc. Well, first and foremost, Cabernet Franc is is an ancient grape. It is much older than Cabernet Sauvignon, and Cabernet Franc. It's funny. In 1991, we produced our first Cabernet Franc, and we had a whole bunch of our customers telling me that I misspelled Sauvignon because they never heard of Cabernet Franc. So we were the first to produce Cabernet Franc in Texas, and it is a variety that does so well. The big difference between Cabernet Sauvignon and Cabernet Franc. Cabernet Franc has kind of an earthy character to it, a leather earthiness to it, and it goes so well with herbs. It's just beautiful. So look at the color on this. Cabernet Franc in some of the states, like New York State, is very light. But in Texas, all of our grapes get dark because of sunlight. It's amazing, when people used to talk about Texas, well, it's too hot, you get too much sun. No, there's never too much sun. Sun causes the grape skin to get dark, and the wine winds up dark, and you get richness and depth of flavor. So Cabernet Franc in Texas really has a deep, dark garnet color. So it's really lovely. Now let's smell it.
And that's also what makes it go so well with the oreganos, that extra pungency, that stronger flavor. You know, the oreganos are members of the mint family, and that same flavor component, that same, I don't know, what do you call it, the boldness of aromatics and flavor that make mint go so well with the red wines also does the oregano.
Yeah. Now let's taste this. Have a taste, love. It's amazing. You know, I love Cabernet Franc because it's got that richness to the wines and to the foods that you have. You know, like when you have a nice lasagna and you start putting all these beautiful herbs in the lasagna, the wine and the food just pair so perfectly together. So it's one of my favorites. That, don't forget now, that's Cabernet Franc. It's not Cabernet Sauvignon, it's Cabernet Franc. The next one is Petit Verdot. Petit Verdot. Now, Verdot is dark. It's ink. It is used in Bordeaux to make the wine dark. Now, one of the things that's happening in Bordeaux is they're having trouble with Petit Verdot getting fully ripe, so they're not getting the color that they used to get. So we have no problem with that. We get great dark color. So normally, a lot of wines have about 5% of Petit Verdot in them to create that rich dark color, you know, because it's not a red, it's a purple. It's a purple color that really enhances the wine maker's ability to darken the wine. So when you smell it, and Meryl's great on smells, so go ahead and smell it, and there is a distinctive smell that is always associated with Petit Verdot. What do you think?
Violets.
Violets. It's always violets. And Texas Petit Verdot just smells like a field of violets. It's just beautiful. You taste it? It's got great tannins. It's a wonderful wine. Goes so well with all of our herbs in Texas. So, on behalf of Meryl and I and the Culinary District, we are proud to say, grow it in our district, and God bless you all. Salud.
Salud.